Okay, I've started our broadcast. Broadcast has started for Cultivating Curiosity for first session of Edcamp Home 3.0. I'm waiting for some invited guests. I am going to send out one more round of invitations. Let's see if we get some attendees. Oh, do I see Tony? Tony, are you in here?
Hello?
Hi, Tony. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Is this Curiosity?
Yes, this is, yeah, Cultivating Curiosity. We're waiting. There's only you and Elizabeth Gould, it looks like. And we're waiting for Elizabeth.
Okay.
Mommy, my class is falling down. It's mine.
Okay, so I'm going to send out another invite to Elizabeth.
Okay.
Mommy, can I have one?
Okay, so it might end up just being you and I.
Okay. Are people still signing up? Because I know it's so hard. You have to refresh all the time. And...
Yeah, and that's what I keep doing, and I imagine there might be still some people signing up, but no one else for this session.
Mommy, you want? No.
Yeah, no one else for this session. I know, and then trying to follow my email and Twitter.
I know.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
I can. Elizabeth just tweeted me.
Is she having troubles getting in?
She says that she's the only one in there right now.
You know, I tell her to hang up and invite her again, because that happened to me, and since I was the only one in there, I just hung up.
Yeah,
I think if
that's
she
what
answer
happened.
right away, it does something really weird.
Okay. This is I'm so glad they've built in time for this, because in January it was crazy.
Yeah.
We did not have enough time to do this as moderators. Okay. So let's see.
Because, like, I couldn't figure out where it was ringing. It was really weird. It wasn't popping up. And then by the time I got to it, it was gone. You know what I mean? It was really
Oh, I
weird.
gotcha. I gotcha.
Almonds.
Okay. And I always have to add the disclaimer that I do have a 3-year-old running around. So if I mute or go to my picture often, that's why.
Yeah.
Hello?
Ah,
Oh.
yay!
Hello.
Hi.
There's
Okay.
Elizabeth.
All right. Well, so the notice came up on my phone and not on my, but I was trying to click on it on my computer because it's a little weird to be sitting here holding my phone when I'm really on my computer. Because I keep clicking on it on my computer and it says, like, accept or whatever, but I'm the only one in the conversation, so I don't understand.
That's where, you know what? I run into this all the time with Hangout. There's always at least one person that has trouble. I don't get it. Well, but anyway,
Yeah,
we're all here.
Okay.
And let me just do one last sweep of my doc here to make sure we're not missing anybody.
Okay.
Nope, we're it.
Going to...
I think if you hang up again and she reinvites you, you'll be able to get it this time. Because, yeah, you have to really get it when she sends it. You can't answer it afterwards, is what I found out.
Okay, I'm going to hang up on here. And maybe if you can try and invite me again.
I will do that. Okay. We still technically have 5 minutes till our official start.
They can hear you.
Okay, so let's see. Well,
Is she not answering when you add her?
no, she's not. Send her another invite. Well, we'll go ahead and start. It can be you and I. I just tweeted her, and she's not tweeting me back.
She just wrote in the group thing, I'm going to plan B.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can see that, but it's
there
when
it
you...
is. Yeah.
I don't know what she means by plan B, but I don't know if she needs you to call her again. And it's weird because it does say people in this hangout, and oh no, it is just you and I. I got invited to so many different ones that...
You did?
I think when people were first setting them up, they just invited everybody in the group.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, why am I getting all these ones I didn't sign up for?
Okay. And she can, yeah, she can go and watch it and participate in the Q&A.
I wonder if she's just trying to get into another session or something weird.
Well, at this point she can't because they closed the signups. Well, I'll keep an eye out for her. I got the Q&A open, and she can even participate on Twitter. I'll watch that too, and she can even participate in the Hangouts here and sending a message. So.
Yeah.
So, Tony, it's you and me, my dear. Cultivating Curiosity.
Yay.
Just really quick, I'm a 7th grade language arts teacher in the foothills in Northern California, in the foothills of the Sierras. And I've been teaching for 14 years. So that's where I come from. How about you?
I'm a teacher librarian at an elementary school in Colorado Springs, and I was a tech teacher. I've been teaching for about 8 years, and I'm the IB coordinator also.
Oh, wow.
So we're inquiry-based. So I'm always looking for curiosity and inquiry kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would say the one thing that I just jumped off and did this year to kind of spur that curiosity, try to give my students a chance to, you know, find something that they were very interested in, is I tried Genius Hour this year, and we did it. I did it every Friday, so it was about 20%, you know, of the week, and I did it from January until we went on spring break in April. And it was a big hit, so much so that I'm actually going to redesign the way my classroom functions for next year, to kind of develop that curiosity, to give students more choice. But it's me kind of swimming upstream by myself.
So I've heard of Genius Hour, but I haven't done it with students yet. I mean,
Mhm.
I've researched it, and I have a lot of friends who have done it. How did you structure it in your classroom?
I just kind of went for it. I decided that I was going to focus on research. I wanted to give them some research skills and then some presentation skills. And that was the only standards-based things that I was hoping to get out of it. I did not grade much of it. I graded little pieces, like could they prove to me that they could decipher credible versus not credible sites? Could they cite their information? Could they use search as well? And then, so I didn't grade the final product at all, just in case there was failure, which there was. And then, that was a whole conversation with students about, well, even if it's failure, you still learned something. You learned how not to do it, and it sets you off in a different direction. And I pretty much gave them the whole class period on those Fridays. If I had to take up any of that time, I didn't want to take up that time because I wanted it all to be theirs. And so I did mini lessons, and I would only take maybe 10 or 15 minutes of their 45-minute period. And I only did about 4 mini lessons in those 3.5 months of Fridays. They had to pitch their ideas to me in a 30-second pitch. I didn't have too much structure because I just jumped in. I just jumped in and went with it. I'll probably have a little more next year. I know I want to do a little bit more on the design end of their final products. We did talk about final products. So it wasn't that every kid did a presentation. I had, my kids who were artists, they brought in their art with their information. I had demonstrations. We had models made.
So do you think you'll grade in the future?
No, absolutely not. My goal is I want students to love learning.
Yeah.
And if I'm putting a grade on it, then they're doing it for a grade, and I want them to do it because they want to learn. And I teach in a pretty affluent area, and I had some parents that were not happy with me because it was not graded. And that's the same thing I told them. I said, I'd rather my students love coming to my class because of what we're doing and they find it valuable than coming to my class because they're trying to get an A.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I had a kid that designed what would be the best parachute for slowing me down when I ride my skateboard down the tallest hill in my neighborhood. There's some physics behind that.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, we had a lot of interesting topics. It was fun. I mean, their presentations practically brought me to tears every day because I was just shocked at what they did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But then other than that, other ways to spur curiosity. I mean, I did have some kids that didn't want to do it. It wasn't like a silver bullet. It was tough.
So what did you do with those kids?
I worked with them a lot. What did they like to do? We used a chart, like what do you like to do? What are you interested in? What do you want to get better at? And ultimately, and it was typically boys that didn't want to do it, but ultimately they went with a sport that they did. So I had some boys that got into designing the best longboard. I had a boy figure out what would be the best cleat for kicking the best goal in soccer. So, some research there because it had to be research-based because that's what I was going after. It just, it was about questioning. Just I was on them, questioning, and finally they came to something.
Yeah.
And if they needed to work with a partner, then maybe I set them up with a partner, and then we really delineated, who was going to do what. And so, what about you?
I think
Have you done anything?
Yeah, I think I do a lot of the pre-stuff for that, for getting them to really be curious. I've done this really cool website, Wonderopolis, where there's a wonder of the day. And again, since I'm with elementary kids, just trying to think about what they wonder about and what wonders are out there. And some of them are pretty basic, but some of them are pretty cool. And a lot of my teachers have started using the site also. It's kind of a cool site because for older kids, they can actually post their own wonders and get answers for them from the website.
Oh, that's nice. I've heard of that.
Yeah. And then just teaching them in the library about our databases, trying to get them to do research on whatever they're interested in the databases that we use when they aren't doing formal research projects. So I think I need to do a little more with that, with reporting out. But I only see them every other week for a half an hour, so it's really hard. So this year I'm going to be working on Edmodo more, so that hopefully they can jump on Edmodo and put information down on what they're learning and what their interests are.
Yeah, it sounds good. I'm always curious. In my district, we don't have, we have librarians, but they don't, especially in middle school, unless a teacher goes to them and asks, hey, let's do a lesson or let's do this, we don't utilize our librarians very much. And I've always thought that the library is probably the best place, to inspire curiosity.
Right, because everything's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sneak ideas to my librarian often. We did a book speed dating round this year, and she had a ball with it. And then the next thing I noticed, she's online a little bit more looking for ideas, and I'm trying to talk her into getting a little bit of a maker space going on in her library.
Yeah, I've thought about that also. I have somewhat new carpeting, so I was hesitant to throw everything into it, but I've done a couple projects where it's kind of based on that, with just cardboard boxes and building and letting them do some free play. But yeah, there's, one thing that someone else in my district who's a librarian did is surprise books, where she wraps books up and they have to pick one, and I keep wanting to do that, and I haven't done that one either, just because, again, I do have a good book lesson for little kids on The Blueberry Shoe, a great illustrated book that talks about wondering and what's going to happen next and predictions and all that. So that helps me set this unit up kind of for wondering. It's just hard unless I work one-on-one with a teacher to get it to happen more with an end result. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in middle school, we call those surprise books blind dates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do your kids like them?
Yeah, the kids, it was so interesting because I did my speed dating the third trimester. And my librarian told me, she goes, I've never seen books fly off shelves like that. She goes, you wouldn't let them check them out during class because you needed them for your next class, since I have, 5 rounds of language arts. And she goes, man, after school, she goes, those kids, they were fighting over books. And then they were requesting books. She said she had kids coming in with the kid that was turning in the book so that they could just turn around and check it out. Like they had found the kid who had the book and then was kind of pestering them. And, yeah,
So what is the speed dating?
So here's all I did. So I talked with my librarian, and we have 9 tables in our library. And I said, let's just do it by genre this go-around. And I said, we might have to make up a few of our own genres, but that way we can get 9 tables. And we had about 5 books at each table. One table, she was monitoring it, is how we did this. And she turned all the books over, so only the back cover was showing. And that was the mystery table. You could not flip open the book. You could not open the book. You had to speed date that book just by reading whatever was on the back cover. And I had given the kids a list of questions, you know, your standards. Read the title, read the blurbs, ask people at your table if they've read them. One of the things I like to do is I like to open a book to just any page and I start reading. And a lot of times it'll grab you or it'll get you interested. And so, you know, I give them that tip. I said, you know, skim it. You know, skim the chapter titles. So they had 3 minutes at each table. And they had a list going that if they found a book that they were interested in, then they added that book to their list. And they didn't have to add all the books at that table. Just, you know, if they were at a table that they didn't have a book that they liked, then they didn't add it to their list. But what I found was by the end, almost every kid on average had about 10 books listed. Because that was a problem, is they were telling me they couldn't find a book to read.
Right.
And so, you know, through the power of Twitter and finding ideas and talking to people, I found this speed dating, and I am now going to use it at least twice a trimester and probably add it to my genre studies because I actually want to teach my concepts and skills through whatever book my students are reading. I don't want to assign a book. I want them to be reading a book that they enjoy. And how can I not teach what I need to teach out of any book? You know, it's a skill or a concept. So that's another way that I'm hoping to try and hook my kids. And I think that kind of goes along with curiosity. I mean, it's their choice.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, speed dating was fun. I'm hoping some other teachers pick it up this year.
Yeah.
I think the kids, and I put it on my board, my agenda. It said speed dating. At the end of class, who will you have a date with? And, okay, I have 7th graders. They came in the room and they're like, what? What are we doing? And I go, we're speed dating today. And, you know, and we're going to go somewhere to go do it. And they're like, well, and I'm like, we need to have lots of tables because you're going to be speed dating, you know, a lot of things. And they're like, okay. So, you know, built kind of that interest.
Yeah.
But yeah, curiosity. I'm also trying to think of, I don't want to do as much direct instruction this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to set up stations, if you will, where my students can explore and kind of build, you know, bring in with knowledge that they have, but then given the examples I have for them, can build then, you know, a skill or a concept. Because what we're running into, and I had some heart-to-hearts with my classes last year that very readily admitted that they just come to school so that they can be told what to do, so that they can do it, so that they can get an A.
Yeah.
And that was very sad.
Yeah, the joy of learning and...
Yeah, and that they freely admitted it. Like, they're like, this is school, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
And I thought this is what I think standardized testing might have done to us. So let's now try and spin it around.
Well, just the curiosity piece, getting them to ask good questions, and that's what I've been trying to read a lot about. It's kind of inquiry instead of curiosity. But if they don't know how to ask questions and be, you know, smart thinkers, then their curiosity is really not going to be. You know, we're killing it because of all the other stuff we're doing in school.
Yes.
We have what are in IB for elementary. We also have Wonder Journals, and every kid in 2nd grade gets a journal that follows them through their grades, and they're supposed to use it for this kind of stuff also, which I really like. But not all of the teachers use them. And because it's a physical thing, you know, I've kind of said, hey, they can bring their journals to the library because the library is the perfect place to wonder, and they can be filling them out. And I haven't gotten that many teachers on board with that, or the kids just don't remember and the teachers don't remember. So
that's a good idea, though.
Yeah, just somewhere where they can just continually, and that way, because during, like for you guys, during one of their Genius projects, they might think of another Genius project that they want to do next, and they could write about it or at least document it somewhere. That's kind of the idea. And it's supposed to, for our kids, it's supposed to be because we do these transdisciplinary units, it's their questions about the unit, and see if you answer them throughout the unit, and if you don't, you go on and research it on your own at home or however you can. So
yeah, I think a lot of trying to bring curiosity back into the classroom is going to be teachers that value that.
yeah,
Lord knows that I have to make decisions where I say, I don't think I'm going to do that, which is on my district-wide curriculum map.
yeah,
Because I think this is, I mean, we're trying to churn out learners, and especially in elementary. I think
Right.
sometimes in middle school we are trying to reverse, you know, because if they come out of elementary curious, usually by 7th grade they're still curious.
yeah,
But if they've come out of elementary and they've lost that already, it's hard. Because they find it to be too much work,
right,
and they don't. Well, because it's them. I mean, who else can do it?
right.
We have a what we call a pride period, the last 28 minutes of our day,
Uh-huh.
and we have sustained silent reading for like 25 minutes of it because our school does accelerated reader.
Yeah.
And they make us grade it, which just kills me. Talk about killing curiosity in reading. Now they're just reading to get points. So then the other like 20 minutes of that period, you know, we're supposed to do team building stuff, like we have a school theme, and that wasn't flying, you know, and I thought, how better to team build? Let's build some curiosity. I bought a makey-makey. Do you know what a makey-makey is?
Yeah.
So I bought a makey-makey, and every other Friday it was makey-makey Friday. We wouldn't even read, and I'm the English teacher. We wouldn't even read because I wanted these kids to be curious, and because we were reading in English, and so I showed them a video about what the makey-makey was, the one with the guys from MIT talking about it.
Right.
And it was so we had so much fun, and the kids were so engaged. And about the 3rd month we had it, I explained to them, I go, well, how's this working? And they're like, well, I don't know, you just hook it up to things and see if it works. And I said, this is about completing a circuit. Do you know what that is? And so then here I am, English teacher, doing some science, talking about circuits. And I said, what the makey-makey is doing is you're just completing the circuit. And I said, all you need are things that conduct electricity. Think about it. And so once they got that tied in with their experience just exploring with it, we got better and better. Like they got better and better with the things they decided to make the makey-makey with. So, I mean, God, anything you can just take the time out and...
So do they do blogging?
We have Blogger blocked. I mean, we're a GAFE school, but we have got several things blocked. Blogger's one of them. I used KidBlog this year and tied it in with Genius Hour, and that's how I was teaching reflection. I wanted them to reflect on their process, and I had all 160 of my kids open to all 160 of my kids, so that was their audience. Next year I'm hoping to go more global. My district's kind of fearful. My parents are fearful, so I had to make some baby steps last year, and then this year I'm going full bore. But yeah, they started blogging, and at first they fought me, and then I opened it up to all of my classes, and all of the sudden they got one, validation from their peers if their ideas were pretty good, but 2, they started getting help, and they started to realize that they could put out calls for help in their blogs.
Right.
My English I had an English language learner who knew no English, had come to us in August from China with no English, and but he was a smart kid and a quick study, and he was blogging pretty minimally, but the kids could understand what he was saying and then would reply to him, and that built his confidence, and then he got even more practice. So I'm trying to figure out how to use a blog throughout the whole year, this coming year. without the kids getting disinterested.
Right.
So in middle school, that's very difficult because they get disinterested pretty fast.
You know, I've helped a lot of teachers do blogging, and I'm going to do it with the kids this year just because I finally got enough technology in the library to really do some stuff this next coming year. But what I found was, you know, that if you just do it once a month or twice a month with an assignment that they're going to be interested in, and sometimes it is posting poetry so other people can read it, or, you know, it could be nothing that is extra for them. They're doing it for you, but now they're going to be able to post it to their friends and get feedback on it. That the kids got much more interested. 2 years ago we did it, and we had kids that would go home and just blog about books, about anything. One of them was writing a story. You know, they just really, cool. As fifth graders, just really saw how powerful it was. And of course, those were the kids that loved reading and writing, but still for other kids to see that they had talent or they had those interests, or, you know, even to just interact with them that way was really cool.
Yeah, I started blogging at the end of December because I was going to launch blogging with my kids at the end of January, and I think it's a pretty powerful tool, and I think that's we're really starting to communicate that way. We're starting to get a lot of information from blogs.
Yeah.
Which more and more we need to teach kids how to find credible information. But I find that we're getting more and more information from blogs, and I think it's a tool the kids need to know how to use. So I'm pretty interested in, and I want to open it up. I want parents to have access to our blogs next year. I want to post them on Twitter. I want them everywhere.
Yeah, we opened them up to classrooms that we knew around the globe, and when they started getting comments from Ireland, they were like, whoa, someone in Ireland is reading my blog, and that, again, got a different group of kids interested because they kind of, you know, just really different for some of our kids. So it's kind of a process of figuring out how it's going to work. I've also done that quad blogging. Have you?
Yeah, what's that?
Quad blogging, again, just gets them curious about blogging, but you take 4 classrooms. So you find 4 classrooms, and they can even be your own 4 classrooms if you want to try it first. And it's 4 weeks long, but we find 4 classrooms around the world, so it's a global audience, hopefully. And then each week, one classroom, like classroom A, posts something. And you can pick themes, or you can talk to the other teachers and say they can really post anything. So one group posts poetry. And then the other 3 groups, the other 3 classrooms, B, C, and D, had to comment on those. And they didn't have to post that week. And then the next week, you know, the next classroom did the post, and then everyone else just commented. So it was really a lot about commenting and being a good commenter, but also learning what other kids around the world. I mean, we kind of, when we did it last year, we did it more of like what we were learning. So again, the kids didn't have to do extra work for their quad blogging, but they were kind of sharing whatever topic they were learning about in their classes.
Ooh, I like that idea.
With the other groups.
And I just became a part of, are you part of the Connected Classroom community on Google+?
I think I am. I do flat connections, which used to be flat classrooms, and I know a lot of educators that way, so I usually can find someone who wants to do a project with me. I know so many. I taught in China for a year, and I know a lot of international teachers. So
that's good.
That helps too, because that, you know, the idea of, you know, for parents especially to say, hey, we want your kids to put their work out there to share with students from around the world. They kind of look at it differently that way also.
Yes.
And even with Kid Blog, I had some teachers who were not as comfortable, and so, you know, in Kid Blog, you do have all those options. You can just say, hey, now that I know Tony, I'm going to share my kids with Tony's kids on her Kid Blog, and you can just exchange URLs, and you don't have to open it to the whole public.
That's pretty cool. I'll have to give that idea a try.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, we're coming up on the end of our time.
I'm glad we had enough to talk to. I'm going to grab some.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Lots of ideas. I need to take notes on that speed dating so I can remember how to do it.
Just Google it.
Yeah.
Book speed dating, and you'll find all kinds of things.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tricia, for hosting.
Thanks, and thanks for joining in.
See
Enjoy
you
your next session.
Bye.